In Minecraft 1.10, Jib announced that there are going to be at least 2 new nether blocks added into the game that are crafted out of Nether Wart. For this reason, I thought it's worth looking back at Nether Wart and coming up with new and interesting way to AFK farm them. So I called my friend Toombe here. How you doing?
Hello.
And we came up with this. This is the Nether Wart mug farm, and I assume you can see why we call it that. So how about we watch this farm in action? Toombe is up there. He's going to give us a third-person look on how the farm is going. Then later on, I will give you a first-person perspective on how it is inside of the farm. So the farm is set on top of a timer with a daylight sensor. So after a full daylight cycle, the farm will go off and you will start harvesting and replant the nether wart. This way it will give time for the nether wart to grow all the way. But currently with commands, the nether wart all of them are fully grown. Currently with commands, we're going to set it to nighttime and then to daytime, and then the farm will start going. As you can see, all of the nether wart get harvested. I will explain how all this bottom stuff work and how everything gets sorted, etc. And then Toombe goes around. He has his inventory very specifically set up to use this farm. So Toombe goes around AFK. I will show you how to go AFK and to hold down both keys constantly. There's a trick to do with F3 and P and F11, etc. So he just goes around, the water pushes him, and he replants all of the nether wart. Then when it reaches the bottom floor, there is a dropper mechanism with a clock that will refill his inventory all the way up to a stack of nether wart again, as you can see over here. Then when he reaches this place, he is holding down space button while AFK as well. So we start going up this water elevator, the very basic water elevator. Then the nether wart left over here. I'll show you how all this works later. Gets collected by the minecart hopper and travels into the chest. So now Toombe's up here waiting another full daylight cycle for the nether wart to grow fully again, and the same thing will happen over and over again. And of course, before you start using the farm, you're going to place at least 2 stacks of items, or a stack of 19 if you want to be a perfectionist, into this dropper over here. So to use this farm, you're going to need to fill your inventory with any block you'd like except one of the hotbar slots. For this example, I'm going to use my number 1 hotbar slot, and you got to fill that slot up with a stack of nether wart right over here like so. So to get into the farm, obviously in this case we just use a little spruce door, and now you have to hold down your space bar and your right click button, and that's how you got to go AFK. I'm going to show you a very clever trick to go AFK, and they will automatically hold down both of your buttons later on in the video. An easier way of doing it though is to reassign your right click button to a button on your keyboard. So now once you're up here, you go AFK over here, and then it turns into nighttime and then daytime like so, and then the farm will start going when all the nether wart are completely grown. As you can see, they got harvested, and then a few ticks later, once they got harvested, you get released and you start replanting them like so. You go around floor by floor like this. And now, as you can see, we will be left with 28 nether wart, and once we reach the bottomest floor over here, our inventory will get refilled up to a stack again with nether wart, and we will be left with only 60 nether wart, which will be enough over here. You can see we will go up to this position again, and then as you can see, all the nether wart are planted, and then after a full daylight cycle, 90%, at least 90% of the nether wart will be fully grown, and the same thing will happen over and over again, and that is how the farm works. So how about we take a look at the behind the scenes of this farm and how it all works. It all starts with this daylight sensor right over here. So the way we have it set up is that there is a line of redstone over here, and a little bit after sunrise, like now, the signal strength outputting from this daylight sensor will reach this rising edge monostable circuit over here. Now this splits up into 2 directions. One of the directions is giving this piston over here a 1-tick pulse that will push the cauldron to this block over here. And that way this comparator is outputting from the cauldron, which will start a comparator clock over here, which will power this block, powering this repeater, and therefore powering the dropper over here. Now we'll get to that in a second, but the other way it goes into this repeater, which powers this line, powers this very small torch tower, which powers this lime green circuit, how we labeled it. Now this controls the harvest the harvesting of the Nether Wart, it will push this soul sand. If we quickly fly over here, you can see it better. It pushes this soul sand from right, then back to left, and then all the Nether Wart that popped off will get collected by the hoppers underneath of the soul sand, and it will all travel into here. Coming over to the front side where we had the comparator clock powering this dropper over here, it is going to dispense Nether Wart over here that will flow down the water stream and get stuck on this block, because this block is an air block. So all the Nether Wart that will get dispensed will flow and get stuck over here, and therefore the player that will replant all the Nether Wart, when he pops down here, he will flow and collect all of the Nether Wart until his one slot of Nether Wart fills all the way up to a stack, and then he will keep on flowing until he reaches this pressure plate. Now some of the Nether Wart still stayed here, they are stuck here. The way we manage that is that when he reaches this pressure plate, before he swims all the way up, because he is AFK holding spacebar, he triggers this pressure plate over here, which powers this line, and this powers this repeater, which powers this block. Now this block splits up into two things. One of the things is that it goes into here, and then it powers this piston, which will push the cauldron back down to its original state right over here. And this will stop the comparator clock, which will stop dispensing the Nether Wart that is constantly getting refilled into the dropper from over here. And the other way it goes into this line, which powers this powered rail like this. Now this powered rail will make the minecart with hopper go back and forth, and then it will collect all of the stuck Nether Wart that are stuck inside of the air block, and it will put it in this quick item elevator, which will put it into the original hopper line, which will put it back into this area over here. Now, last but not least, this mechanism over here. Now, all of the Nether Wart that are going to get collected and the Nether Wart that are going to get dispensed are going to travel through the hoppers, all of these hoppers over here. They're going to travel into this section. Now, this is the core of the farm. This is how the farm works. Now, they all travel to start with into this item hopper, which will put it into the dropper over here. Now, the way we have it set up is until there is at least a stack and 19 items into this dropper right over here from all the Nether Wart, then we have it set up so that is the perfect amount of items to make this comparator signal strength outputting from the dropper 3 redstone dust. And once it reaches the stack in 19, stack in 20, something like that, it will unpower this torch, which will unlock this I was about to say cauldron hopper over here. So therefore all the items that are getting collected will prefer going down this hopper and into the chest instead of going into the dropper over here. So that is how the farm harvests and resets, and this is how you get all of your Nether Wart to craft your new Minecraft 1.10 blocks or potions. So what you have to do in order to go AFK in this farm is you have to press F3 and P at the same time. That will pause on lost focus disabled. That means when you alt tab out of your game, it will not go into the pause menu like it usually does. And I can't really show it to you on recording, but what you need to do is you need to hold down both keys. So to use this farm, you got to hold down space. So currently I'm going up, and you got to hold down right click. But something I like doing is you reassign button number 2 over here to, for example, U. This is what I use. And now what you got to do is you got to hold down space and U at the same time. So now I'm right clicking and flying up in this case at the same time. And then what you want to do is you want to press F11 again, and then F11 again to go out of full screen. While you're placing it down, then you just need to let go as it's minimizing. And then the game will think you're still holding the buttons down. So you can go AFK, and then you could do Alt Tab because you did the F3 and P, and the game will, like the 2 keys will stay held down in the game. So then you can use the farm, if that made any sense. The last part of the redstone is this light blue circuit, how we labeled it over here. Now this is going to release the player after the Nether Wart has been harvested, so the soul sand is pushed from right to left, and after that then the signal will travel up here, and it will go into this comparator pulse lengthener over here. It will unpower this torch, which will retract this piston over here, so the water will flow until it hits this sign, and it will give the player just enough time to get pushed by the water and dropped on top of this water source over here. Then he will start flowing and replanting all of the Nether Wart, drop like I showed you before, and then the piston will retract, and then once he's done, he will flow all the way back over here into his waiting position.
One last thing to mention is that the farm is completely tileable upwards, but it has to have a even amount of floors, because otherwise you would end up being stuck with the wrong floor and then you couldn't enter the farm. So it has to have a even amount of floors so you can, well, enter from the left side because the elevator is positioned there. But if you're gonna add more floors, you're gonna have to count the amount of soul sand you have in the farm, because the dropper we have right here wouldn't have enough items if, for example, we say you add 2 extra floors, because then it would need more more Nether Wart than we currently have dispensing. So you would have to, for example, add, well, a few more redstone here, and then have it go into the block as we had it with the previous line.
That is how the farm works right over here. Now I will provide a world download to this world. A tutorial is not too necessary. If you want to know how to build this, you can come on to this world and check it out for yourself, have a closer look, understand it a little bit more, because frankly, our opinion is we kind of suck at explaining stuff like this, especially if they're as complicated as this. So sorry if you didn't understand us too well, but yeah, as always, there is a world download in the description below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys found this useful. We thought it is a really cool farm concept and design, and it is worth sharing with you. Me and Toombe designed this on the course for almost a week now. Worked a lot. There were a lot of struggles that we had to to cross. So leave a like on the video. It will be very much appreciated. Go check out Toombe's channel in the description below. NeonVin TV, I think it is. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time. Bye bye.